Yes. All right.
Okay, it's preparing.
Let me get my drink.
I'm Jordan. Are you still connected?
Oh, yes.
What is the screen? I'm gonna get out of the screen so you get in the screen.
All right, waiting for 8 o'clock. It's 8:01. Where did Zoom go? Are we live? I think we're live. Hello, everyone.
Is it happening?
I don't know. Is it happening? Well, we're going to go for it anyways. But in the meantime, I'm Brian Mendelson. This is Sarah, our co-host for this evening for this red carpet premiere in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. And on the line, we have Brandon Troust coming from us, Atlanta, Georgia.
Hello. Hello, everyone.
All right, let me just double check to make sure we got our technical right. But what are you drinking there?
In the meantime, I'm drinking a glass of whiskey to go with my pickle popcorn from Row House. It's a great meal I'm having tonight for dinner. I'm sure my stomach will enjoy me tomorrow.
This is my dinner as well.
Where's the streaming? Is it streaming on YouTube?
During the pandemic, so that's a good thing.
I know, right? I barely drank during this whole thing.
How are we looking?
I'm asking right now. Okay.
Cool.
Wait, it's saying no.
I have the YouTube feed up on a separate window. There's nothing on it right now. I'm assuming I would see us if it was happening, right?
Okay, that there is something I can do to fix that. Actually, we actually did a test run and prepared for all this. We actually did a test run and prepared for all this. It's not what it says it's on. We actually did a test run and prepared for all this. It's not what it says it's on. Oh no, this is we actually did a test run and prepared for all this. It's not what it says it's on. Oh no, this is hold on.
It's all good.
Okay, so we had to switch links. So we got a few people in right now, but most people are going to be coming in a minute. So we'll just say hi to everyone. She should be posting it on the YouTube thing now. All right. So while we wait for people to show up, I'm going to eat some pickled popcorn.
Oh, fantastic. I'm jealous.
Is everyone just buying you pickle gifts, or is this like pickle your life right now?
It really is, but I mean, it's been my life for 2 years at this point. It's just been nothing but pickles. I mean, I think the first pickle gift I got was actually, there's actually a store right next to the row house there. There's a woman that does like hand blown glass and ornaments and stuff. I don't know if she's still there, but
Big boss, yes.
she came out and gave us these like pickle ornaments, these like hand blown glass ornaments to like a handful of us. I still have it. I put it on my Christmas tree. It's the best thing in the world.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
I'll tell Bernadette. I'm sure she'll love to hear that.
Oh yeah, please do. I'm a big fan. It's a special token that we hold dear at this point. But yeah, pickles everywhere. I mean, my pickle consumption has ramped way up too. I mean, I don't know. For some reason, I just feel like I need to eat pickles. I'm into it. I'm a pickle fan.
Why? Why
Yeah,
pickles all in your life right now?
And I'm sure you noticed, but there's a festival dedicated to pickles in Pittsburgh.
I heard. I think we had just missed it when we were there, and we were all sort of devastated. But now I'll have even more of a purpose to come back and visit.
Exactly. I think it was canceled this year, like everything else in the whole world.
Yeah.
But we're hoping 2021.
2021.
Yes, I'll drink to that.
To 2021. Maybe you're open by then.
Yeah. Cheers.
Maybe we'll have a real premiere to see your film on big screen. Okay, so we're going to follow up this whiskey with pickle juice.
Really?
This pickle juice is homemade.
It looks like it has jalapenos or something hot in it.
I don't think so. I'm going with no. I think this is just normal pickles. This is made by one of our staff members, Tony. He made it for the occasion. So he made homemade pickles and gave all the staff pickles. It might have been just the pickles were ready today, but it is pickle day in Pittsburgh, if you will. So
amazing.
We're going to go for it. But yeah. We'll just do one housekeeping thing right before.
Are we happening now? It's happening.
Yeah, we're live.
We're live.
We're just getting
hello everyone
from the old link to the new link because,
Cool. So we're hanging out and waiting for people to join.
Yeah.
Projector's not in our favor either.
Oh, it's like a screensaver. That's the story of 2021 right here. Well,
2020.
we're 2020. Is that what year this is?
This is 2020 still. It's hard to imagine.
I can't imagine. I have no idea what's going on. We're in a closed movie theater. This is so sad. We're here for a red carpet premiere. We were going to do a virtual background. We'll try. We'll do it real quick. We're just going to do it for 1 second because it is important that we get this this background in. So we're going to. We'll start with this one. We're going to do 2 backgrounds. This is us. Sarah, the reason why we're not doing this permanently is because it doesn't work with 2 people. We both have to stand perfectly still. But speaking of Gerby glass, there you go. There's
wonderful.
Glass. And then there's Beerport. And who's this guy right here?
Herschel in the flesh.
Cool. And then, all right, we'll switch one more background while we do it. This is more appropriate for the red carpet premiere. Let's see if I can find it. This is so hard to do things virtually. We're in this, 5 months now? I am not used to it still.
Yeah, I still can't get a meeting properly.
We finished the post on this movie remotely. So
Did you really?
this was yeah. We ended up digging back into the edit for a little bit about a month ago,
Oh
just
my
to
God.
finish up everything. So this is what it was every day, back and forth. We were editing this way. We were doing music editing this way. Everything. It's crazy.
Technology never bothered me before until I can't get a proper internet connection to join a work meeting, and then my entire day is ruined. You know, I never used to be like that.
You know, we didn't even have the internet 20 years ago, and the world worked. It was totally
Somehow.
fine. All right, should we do some pickles
We can eat a pickle.
on the red carpet? Oh,
In your hand.
oh yeah, good social distancing ideas.
This is the first time I've talked to somebody this close without a mask on.
We are in the same friend bubble, just to clarify. So before people start commenting, why aren't those two wearing masks? We're about 5 feet away, and we're in the same friend bubble. But
It's your own pod. It's your own pod.
Mhm.
we're in a friend pod. All right, let's get rid of this background. Let's go ahead and start.
They are spicy pickles.
They
I
are.
told you.
You were right. All right. Go ahead and say something. I'll be right back.
I think Brian is going to turn on the projector again so you can see the row house logo
The projector forgot how to be a projector.
to let everybody know that we are in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, a row house, talking to the director of American Pickle about pickles mostly so far, but I think we're going to dive a little deeper into the movie and how it came about and kind of your takes on filming in Pittsburgh. Have you ever been here before? Those sorts of things.
Cool. Should we wait for?
There he's coming. So yeah, Brendan, have you been in Pittsburgh before you started to film here, or was it a surprise?
I had never been to Pittsburgh before I came there to prep the movie, and it was a pleasant surprise, really. I mean, we knew that we just weren't able to shoot this movie. The movie takes place in New York, it takes place in Brooklyn, and we just knew that it would be just, logistically, it's difficult to shoot in New York. It's expensive, it's just all of the above. And Pittsburgh, we had a location scout go out, and I saw some photos of the area, and I kind of almost blindly said, "This seems like it'll work. Let's just go to Pittsburgh. It'll be great." And boy, it was. We got there, and it was perfect. I know Brooklyn very well, even though I'm from LA. I've spent a lot of time in New York and Brooklyn, and so every time I drove around the city, I could find different areas of what to me reminded me of different parts of Brooklyn. So we just committed to a bunch of different areas. We used Lawrenceville right there in front of the row house as if it was sort of our faux Williamsburg. To me, that ended up feeling like the closest to that sort of look for Brooklyn. We used an area in the is it North Side? Is that what it's called? I think it's like Ohio Street. There's an area over there that to me almost had like a kind of a Red Hook feel that we shot in at one point. And we used a park over there as well that felt like McCarran Park to us in Brooklyn. We shot a little bit downtown to be Manhattan, and then we found a park that we turned into a Jewish shtetl, and that was just like 20 minutes outside of town. I can't remember what it was called though. It's there's like a horse stable on the property. It's like a big mansion that has like a big sprawling estate, and people walk around it and buy stuff.
100 acres. That's a public.
That's the one.
Senator Hines' house, and then he donated it to the county, which is kind of cool.
I was just
Yeah.
Speaking of pickles, what a pickle good tie-in. Did you know that the founder of his grandson of pickles in Pittsburgh? That is
Wow. We were there the whole time. Yeah, so there's like a horse stable there that kind of was sort of our central kind of location that we built around to make it look like the old sort of ancient shtetl you'll see at the beginning of the movie. But yeah, it worked really well. It was great. We loved it there. I love Pittsburgh. I mean, it's funny. Like I felt myself being in a position where I was like, I wish I could come back to Pittsburgh to shoot it for Pittsburgh, because it's so just unique looking and graphic, and the bridges and the water, and just we were there in the fall, so while the leaves were turning up on the hills, it was just like it was really really pretty. I'm a fan. I lived right there in Lawrenceville when I was staying there. I was just a few streets away from the theater.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
And you were here at the same time the Mr. Rogers movie was being filmed as well. So It was like a exciting time for film in Pittsburgh.
I was, yeah. And Mari, who directed that, is a good friend of mine, and I shot her first 2 features. So there was at one point where we were shooting on the same stage, and we were trading places, going from one set to the other throughout the day because we were both working at the same time, just visiting. It was really nice.
Sneak into Mr. Rogers' film. He's like wanted to make a cameo in there.
No, I mean, we came in kind of at the tail end of their production, and as we were starting, so there was very little overlap. And the overlap that we got, she was just shooting all the miniature stuff. So I got to be in the stage when they were shooting all the Mr. Rogers miniatures, which was really just, nostalgically mind-blowing just to see them do that and recreate it so perfectly. It was cool. But,
So,
Mr. Rogers.
So as a director, I mean, I'm not sure who approached you, if you like your agent just said, hey, I got this great script, or Seth calls you up and be like, all right, so there's this guy who falls into a vat of pickles. It's great. I mean, what was your reaction? Like, how was this sold to you as a concept?
Well, I mean, I got involved with it just because I've worked with Seth Rogen and that whole production crew for so long. I've worked as a cinematographer for so long. And the first movie I shot for them was This Is the End. And I've shot most of their movies since then. So we've kind of always been in the mix with each other. And they approached me to direct a movie kind of out of the blue. I wasn't really promoting myself as such, but they had something that thought would work for me. And truth be told, it wasn't actually this movie. It was a different movie that we got going. But then right before we started shooting, it all kind of collapsed and fell apart. And right as that was falling apart, they slipped me the script and said, hey, we think you should do this movie instead. And I read it and I was like, yes, of course. This is so cool. This is so bonkers. This is just... It's sweet. It's crazy. I really just responded to it as it's just a movie that I would want to see. It's something I'd really relate to in terms of you'll see when you watch the movie, but it has a lot to do with family and family legacy and how to sort of deal with grief in the middle of that. There's a lot of cultural notes that we hit as well that really, I don't know, spoke to me personally. The movie's very, admittedly the movie's it's very Jewish. We were at times calling it like a Semitic fairy tale, but it's, and I am not, but it really spoke to me through its core values, I guess, if that makes sense. And I just really wanted to, I guess, respect all of that with all of my, Jewish counterparts that really helped us make this as legit as possible,
That's cool.
Yeah, so whenever they approached you, did they say, hey, we have this sci-fi script that would love you to read, or was it kind of like a comedy in their mind? Brian,
it was always
on what this movie would be categorized as.
It's a hard movie to categorize. We have, and we knew that from the get-go, just based on the script and its sort of wild antics. Simon Rich, who wrote the script, has a really a particular flair for these kind of stories, which are sort of steeped in magical realism, which this movie very much is. And I for me, it always felt like a fairy tale, and that's really how we treated it from the get-go. It's sci-fi in terms of the kind of Rip Van Winkle aspect of the movie, which we always lovingly just compared to Demolition Man or Encino Man, even if you want to. I don't mind filling those shoes, but
classic. Come back to Row House Cinema's screen. Can't believe we haven't shown that here yet.
Oh boy! I mean, well, which one? Encino Man or Demolition Man? Maybe both. Do a double feature.
I mean, I play pinball, and Demolition Man's a classic pinball machine. So.
It is. I remember when I was there, it was across the street in the pinball cafe. I would go play that specifically.
Exactly, it is. Yeah. So we do have a question from the audience. So one commenter asked, "What was your favorite part? What part of Pittsburgh was your favorite to shoot in?" So this is like people battling of what's the best neighborhood in Pittsburgh right now.
There's a lot of
that. Good question. It's
yes,
I'm a little bit biased because I just liked Lawrenceville so much because it was my neighborhood when I was there. I liked the area. We shot there a bunch. We shot right in front of the theater a couple days. And I could walk there every morning. So it was remarkably easy. And I could just go and just kind of hang out after we had finished out. So I don't know. I liked that area a lot. Where else did I like? I mean, we had one day that was just like, I forget what the name of the park is that's over on the north side. That's over by Ohio Street or whatever that is.
Oh, Allegheny Commons.
Yeah, I think that's where we shot there. There's some park scenes in the movie. You'll see it's in that area, and I thought it was just nice. I don't know. We just had a pleasant time. I mean, it's hard to really compare one to the other, but I don't know. I got a special place for Lawrenceville.
Huntsville, so
Yeah,
it was probably the right answer.
We're going to agree
Yeah.
with
Okay. All right.
Well, we got another great question from the audience. This one is, other than Herschel, if you were to pickle someone and let them pickle for 100 years, who would you want to pickle and bring back today?
Like a real person?
Real
or someone
person.
in the movie? Okay.
Real person.
Like a real person, like someone from 100 years ago, like choosing someone from 100 years ago to come down.
100, 150 years. I'm not sure the science of pickling and how, if it's exactly 100 years, you wake up.
Oh my God. Wow, I don't even know. Who would? I mean, the truth is, I don't know, and I don't know if I would want to, because I think it's just even just the concept is terrifying. I mean, that's what this whole movie is based on. You know, even Simon, who wrote this, he said he came up with the concept when he saw a photo of his like great grandfather, some old like tintype picture, and realized that his great grandpa in that photo was the same age that he was when he was looking at it, and he realized that he was just like this, like soft millennial version of what this like tough, hardworking man who built everything from the ground up with his hands, and how he would like feel about him if he saw him in person, which is that he would probably just want to beat him up.
Well, it's also kind of tragic too, because I mean, since he was pickled, he didn't get to live the rest of his life with his family, right? I mean, that's the whole premise of the movie, but
it is, and we touch on that sadness a lot, and you'll see this movie I think is actually it's secretly very sad. It sneaks up on you, I think, but it's. But I think that's also part of what maybe attracted me to the movie. There's a real sort of, well, hopefully people feel this way, but there's a really, there's like a sweetness to this movie that we really wanted to navigate and kind of be the foundation of the movie, even though it's funny at times and sometimes dramatic. But I don't know, it's a mixed bag. We'll see if people go along with it, but it's a fun ride, I think.
Now, I obviously it's terrible that we aren't able to watch this film in person, and you're not going to have a theatrical release as you should and would have in the US here. You are going theatrical internationally, I believe. Is that correct?
Yeah, we're going theatrical everywhere except for the US.
We won't get into politics of that.
I guess it's control enough, I think.
Yeah, the theaters are open in most of the world. But anyways, so I mean, what do you see the silver lining is for the US, since this is going straight to VOD and
Well, the silver lining for us, and there's a couple different things I would say. This movie was originally, this was a Sony movie to start. That was how I made it, Columbia Pictures. And while we always anticipated having some sort of theatrical release, it was even Tom Rothman, who's the head of Sony, even when he had seen this movie, said, "Wow, I love this movie and I adore this film, but I don't know if we're the right people to release it." And we're like, "Wow, I mean, that's really amazing of you to say that," because we agree, not in a bad way, but kind of like it's the movie itself isn't. By the time we had finished the film, we realized we didn't have something that is like that film that you want to release on 3,000 screens on like a summer weekend necessarily, because it is just so unique that I think we think it needed more care, if that makes sense, like maybe like a platform release or something like that. We didn't know. We were trying to figure it out. And then, COVID happened, and it sort of made sense to dive into the streaming world just to have it released, just logistically, even if we were to hold this movie to release it theatrically whenever we all come back to normal, there's no chance that we're going to squeeze into any weekend that any other movie's trying to like fight for, that's been pushed already for this whole year, for the next year that's coming up. I mean, that would just be sort of a bloodbath. Yeah. But I actually really, I love HBO, and I think that HBO to me has always been this sort of, they've always been a prestigious cable channel and now streamer. I think that their films and their series, their TV series content has always been just like top notch. So I think that like being aligned with them is actually a good thing for this movie. And I think a lot more people will see it right now. I mean, we have a real captive audience, and for people that are just hungry for any kind of new content right now, I'm just happy to be in the mix with that. And I think that I hope this movie reaches out and touches people as well. I mean, there's a lot of just negative shit going down in the world right now. And it's like, this movie, hopefully this movie feels like you're getting a hug by the time the movie's over, and like, I think that it's sort of, it's what I want to watch. So I think that it's a good time to reach everybody for that. So I think the silver lining is that this might have been the best way to release this movie, just to get it to as many people as possible in the right way. So I hope, we'll see, but that's where we landed.
That's good. I mean, as a movie theater owner, obviously I'm biased and I want everything to be released in theaters.
But of course, me too.
But if you understand the trends of the way movies have been going over the last 5-10 years, the middle tier film isn't made anymore of like the drama and the romantic comedy and sweetheart films don't have a place in movie theaters anymore. It's all Avenger films and comic book films, and if you don't make $1 billion, go home. And so the rise of the streaming services, and I'm glad there's competition other than Netflix, has created an opportunity for a movie like this. And another movie we were distributing before was called Driveways, a Brian Dennehy film. It's like these films are getting made now because of streaming, where 5 years ago they wouldn't get the green light. So it's kind of nice to see filling in the void. The streaming services are filling in a void, which is good.
Yeah, but particularly like these mid-budget range movies are just you're lucky if you hit it big theatrically these days. It's like everything rides on the opening weekend, and then you're just, even if the movie's great, you're saddled with what could be just a soft release, and then it's just like forgotten, and everyone thinks it's a failure. But it's just because it's just hard to compete with anything else right now. And it's also, that's happening a lot with comedies too, specifically. I don't, unfortunately, but it's where we exist. It's what we make. But I'm proud of what we made, and I do think another silver lining is that I think that the box office numbers are never going to be a part of the discussion with this movie. It's going to be like whether they liked it or they didn't. It's not going to be. It'll be judged on its own merit, and not with how it compared to whatever the next superhero movie is.
Yeah, exactly. That's good. So I have a very serious question for you. I know the answer to this, but the audience did ask this. FP3. The audience wants to know when it's coming out and a little bit about it, if you don't mind.
Oh, wow. Well, the truth is, I actually know very little about it. My brother has shot. I know he shot part 3 and 4 together. So he's working on. I know he's working on part 3 right now. He actually moved to Australia. He's down there working on the movie. He's there with his wife, who's Australian, and they're actually in a better position than we are, because they're in at a country that's been able to handle this appropriately. But I'm not sure. Well, we'll have to ask him and reach out. We just haven't caught up on it, so I don't know where he's at.
That's cool. And another question that come up that I thought was really good is your primary experiences as a cinematographer, DP. What was it like making the transition to director?
It was, it was. I'm not going to say it was easy, because it wasn't. I mean, directing a movie is so remarkably difficult. It was actually. It was almost a surprise. Not completely. I mean, I've worked on so many movies over the last 20 years at this point, and a lot of films that I've shot. I've worked with a lot of experienced directors. I've worked with a lot of first-time directors as well. And I think that I've been fortunate enough to work with both, to pick up tricks from those who I feel like are experienced and those who I admire, and those who I've worked with who always were inspired and had their own original ideas, but would need to lean on me for certain aspects. Whether it's blocking or figuring out what shots we need so that we know that we can cut it together. I think that ultimately I just built up enough experience that for me it felt like a bit of a lateral move in a way. It's much harder. You have to spend way much more time doing it. It's officially been 2 years since I've been on this pickle movie from start to finish, to right now. So, and normally I'm in and out of a movie in just a few months if I'm shooting something. So you have to really know that that's what you're getting into. And also when you shoot a movie, you do your job, you come in, you make it look good. Like no one blames you for the movie if it fails either. So I get to have all of that responsibility on my shoulders as well, because I have to make all those choices and make it work. But I just love making movies, and I think that fortunately, I really liked. I just connected to this story so much. It was easy to love it the entire time, the whole way through. So it made it easier to, I don't know, write out, I guess. But I'm really happy with it, and it was fun. I had a good time. I'm actually, I'm not stepping away from shooting necessarily. I'm actually prepping to shoot something right now in this whole COVID world. So we'll see how that goes. So that's crazy. But
what it is, or is it top secret?
No, I mean it's. I'm going to shoot. So I'm just shooting just the DP for this musical called Dear Evan Hansen. It's a Broadway show that they're turning into a feature, and so we're prepping it down here. We're going to start shooting it next month, provided everything goes correctly and we can stay safe. And that's the whole thing. But we'll see. But I love making movies. That's what I want to do forever. I wouldn't know what to do with myself if I didn't. It's the only job I've ever had in my whole life. So hopefully I can keep doing it a little longer.
Yeah. And so with this movie, the Pickle movie, bring it back here. Obviously there's two co-stars. There's Seth Rogen and Seth Rogen. What was it like filming? How did it work where you have the same guy in the same scene twice? He has a beard and not a beard in the same scene.
It's such a heavy question to unpack almost, because it was so difficult to do.
I'm like, I'm going to give you a softball question. Here you go.
Yeah.
That's
just it. It was really difficult. It's a real technical challenge. I think that's just to answer a little bit more even of the question of why I think Seth and Evan came to me to want to do this movie, is because I had the technical experience to handle it. Just because I've worked with visual effects. I understand just editing and just eye lines and how to make everything work. And that was all like stuff that was really sort of paramount to understand, to just shoot a normal 2-shot in this movie. Excuse me. But the short answer, if there is a short answer, is that we shot both characters separately. Normally when you do twin type movies, traditionally it's a split screen. You shoot one half of the screen with one character, and then you ship them off to get their makeup, and then you come back and put them in the other frame when they've got new clothes and like a new hairstyle, and that's how they interact with each other. And you do a split right down the middle, and that's how you make it work timing wise. And you don't move the camera. But for us, because we had this beard that we, that was sort of we always wanted to keep it. At one point we tried thinking about it, but we just knew that having a fake beard on Seth would just be the worst idea possible, because at this point, not only is everyone going to know that Seth looks like he's wearing a fake beard, because everyone knows what Seth looks like with a beard, but it just never looks good. Our comp to that was Thor in the last Avengers with that big fake beard. It's like you can make a $250 million movie, but the beard still looks horrible. So it's like, how are we going to do any better than that? So we kept the real beard, and that was sort of the tail that wagged the dog in terms of our just scheduling our whole approach. So we had to shoot everything as Herschel first, take extensive notes about where the camera was placed, whether we were drilling holes into the ground or sinking nails into the sidewalk outside, and then writing, measurements to triangulate where we were going to come back to find the same frame. And then we would line it up with like dissolves and split screens to line up just the frame, get all the set dressing in the right spot. All the lighting had to be exact. And then Seth had to come in once he had shaved, and he would stand in frame and work off of our acting double for eyeline purposes. And he would have an earpiece in that would play the take that we're lining up to that we had chosen, so he could get the timing right between Herschel himself so he could play Ben. And then sometimes there was even beeps, a sequence of beeps, like a 1, 2, 3, 4 pop in his ear to be like 1, 2, 3, 4, look here, now look there, now grab this, now exit frame. There's all these little, it was just such a challenge for him to do. And we would look at splits on, like rudimentary splits in our playback on set to see if we got the timing right. And it was just trying to keep the eye lines correct. It was really, and that was such an intense process to go through for what ultimately it would just be a simple scene, And that's part of how our approach was for the splits also. I didn't want it to be like overly dynamic and crazy gimmicky for like the prove it shots for like, hey, look, it's Seth Rogen as the same character and like this crazy camera move. It's all really like simple and sort of just, we tried to make it like elegant and easy. So you wouldn't even think about that. So you would just forget about it. Because for me, the most important thing was just believing that they were two characters and not the same person. And I feel like we did that pretty well. I think it feels pretty invisible, but just understand when you watch the movie that, you know, there are like a Marvel level amount of VFX shots in this movie to make it look this way. And oftentimes it's just like two dudes sitting on a couch, and you wouldn't believe just what goes into that to make it happen, you know? So yeah, I don't know. That's that's just a glimpse into the process. There's more to it than that even still, but that's just like the broad strokes.
We're going to get the movie started in about a minute. And by get it started, meaning you're going to go onto HBO Max and hit the play button. I'll try to watch it at the same time, and then keep your YouTube up. And so this way we're going to keep the commenting going. So we could comment on Seth's beard and his, what is it, Polish Ukrainian accent, not sure, Prussian, one of those.
His real beard.
His real beard, yes. Not his, not his, Thor beard. But and then, but before we go, this is a red carpet premiere, so let me switch to background, of course, and get the red carpet back. Sorry, Sarah, we're gonna
blend into the background.
wait. So now that we're on the red carpet, we have two questions for you, Brendan. One, what are you wearing? Who are you wearing tonight?
Oh, who am I wearing? I'm wearing a short for this metal band I like called Torch. I'm pretty sure it's a bat. It's like shitting on an eyeball that says the word torch. Anyway.
No one's ever worn that to a world premiere before. That's fantastic. And what are you drinking now? Speaking of drinking.
Oh, well, I'm in Atlanta right now, and this is a handcrafted Atlanta hard cider. Probably can't see it. It's the best I could do. I didn't have pickles, so I went for apples. I don't know, it was the closest I could get to.
And you can ferment apples, and when
it
comes cider. So it's similar, But yeah. So all right. Well, thank you so much for making this movie, and thanks for being here with us tonight. Congratulations. Normally you would have amazing fanfare this week, and hopefully we could give you a little bit of that. But what's that? I'm gonna have a pickle. You want a pickle?
I'm gonna have some pickled popcorn.
Well, this is awesome. Thank you. I mean, it really does feel like a premiere. I feel like I'm right there. I can see the red carpet. You've got,
you're literally right next to us. I'm like,
I mean, you guys dressed up fabulously.
I mean, I didn't have a Torch shirt myself, but then again, if I wore it, you couldn't wear it, or vice versa. So I'm glad.
What is your tux? Is this Armani?
Yeah, who are you wearing?
This is my tuxedo vintage 2003. When my friend Gabe got married in Florida, I had to wear a tux, and it was
nice.
To buy as it was to rent. So 20 years later, I got married.
You did get married in that.
I got married in this.
Yeah,
tux. Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, it's Sarah.
And it still fits, man. Right on. Do it.
Well, we can talk about that.
All right.
So Sarah, what are you wearing?
I believe I got this dress at Anthropology 10 years ago.
Oh,
I'm not sure.
So it's designed by Jevs Ren from Sweden for Anthropology. Of course.
Exactly.
Yes, fabulous.
I dug deep into my closet, and this is what I came out with.
Cheers. Oh, wait, let me do it. All right, so we're going to go ahead and get started watching this movie. So go ahead and press play in 5 seconds. So 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. I'm going to eat this pickle. Enjoy the show.
I hope you guys enjoy. Cheers.
Thank you so much.
Okay, I'm just going to leave it like that.
Apparently, it's just me drinking on YouTube right now.
I think it is. You can go ahead and log off.
No, I'm gone. Okay. Amazing. Nope.
All right, my friend, thank you so much.
All right. Thanks, guys. I'll see you later.
Thanks for everyone coming tonight. We're going to sign off. That was a lot of fun. We just finished watching it ourselves. Good night. Thanks for everyone.